This is so weird. I'm like having a surreal moment right now of talking about how I changed my mind. I would never have thought this was an episode, you know? This is so crazy.
That's why I'm here. Action!
I've
changed your mind!
Okay, so this is a gift from my friend Jared Blandino and Jeremy Johnson, the founders of Too Faced. They gifted me this in Lake Como. They wanted me to keep this baby so I could practice how to take care of a baby because I have no idea. I have zero idea of how to take care of a newborn. Jeremy even tucked a little bottle of the Tabasco sauce we used all over Italy so that everything was in safekeeping. Hello, Hunnay. I'm still in awe that I'm actually sitting here talking about this. I'm pregnant in a million years. If you took every penny I have and everything I love in my life and bet that I would be pregnant, I would absolutely bet against myself. And here I am. This is a real full circle moment for me. I'm so in awe with how I grew to get to this place. When I was younger, I used to keep a diary, and those were my favorite times in my life because you'd actually sit down and you'd be intentional about writing things out. I don't do that anymore. This has become my diary. This what is this called?
Show.
This show. Oh my God, look at my coming out on the
No,
side.
I really like this train. Stay on it.
Okay. This show has become my diary. I love looking back at my episodes and seeing how far I've come. I've always said, own you before they do. I have not, up until age 40, owned that I have anxiety issues. I feel like it makes me seem like I'm not good at what I do. I'm a failure as a television host. No, I'm gonna own that I have anxiety issues, and now I'm gonna think about what can I do to combat it.
Like, I just needed your support. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, but
it makes me, I know that I'm crying right now, but actually, I feel like you just set something free inside of me because you believed me enough to go to his house and say something to him. And that's all I needed to see, Mom.
I just saw this like crazy kindness in his eyes and this humility that he, like me, hasn't made the best choices in life. Things didn't always turn out the way they're supposed to. But in our careers, we look like we have all the answers. We look like, yo, these people can't possibly live a day being unhappy. But I could see right away that he had been broken like me. And it was insane. So I was able to like connect with that. All of these things have been Dear Diary moments, and you guys have been with me the entire time. This is the first time I get to have a Dear Diary moment with my fam about how I decided to be ready for kids. Whenever you heard me say, I don't want to have kids, it was just such a clear and cut feeling. There was no reason to elaborate on that. And I was always, and still am, very protective of women and people who don't want to have kids. I don't like the guilt and the pressure that's placed on women to have children. Just because we're women, it means that we have the choice. It doesn't mean that we have to have children. It means that we have the choice. My choice was, I'm better off working to better myself as an adult because that's a full-time project for me. Make my life better and fix what I've experienced, or risk ruining another person's. I'm gonna go for this one because I'm already halfway there and I'm doing good. And I was happy with that. And I was doing all right with it. When Jeezy and I first met, you know that we had an amazing journey dating each other and getting to know each other. And one of the first things that we talked about was whether or not we wanted to have children. He was very upfront about the fact that he had already had 2 beautiful children. And I was really upfront about the fact that I didn't want children. We both were really okay being 2 grown adults in our 40s dating and not wanting children. In fact, it seemed relieving that there was no pressure on either side. So that was our plan. As you know, you're always gonna have plans, and then God reminds you who's in charge, right? I actually found it unbelievable that I had met a man that totally invigorated my senses, emotionally, mentally, physically, and also was okay with not having children. Because for me, when it came to dating, it's very important to me, maybe essential, that you manage expectations. I don't ever want to mislead people. When Jeezy and I moved forward something started to change very quickly. I kept it to myself. I didn't say anything to him about it because I didn't know exactly what it was. I just began to fall into a love with Jeezy that I had never experienced before. And this love opened up visions and dreams of things I wanted to do with him that I never pictured doing. Building a future, building a family, building the type of childhood and the type of freedom and love that we didn't always have as kids in someone new. When I spoke to Jeezy and I told him that I see something different with him, I see building with him, I see building a family with him, we both had mutual dreams where we saw little ones running around us. And the great thing is I feel so safe in my relationship with Jeezy that I can talk to him about this, and we both can gingerly hold each other and walk ourselves through the steps to heal so that we can prepare ourselves for what we want to bring to this table when it comes to family. It wasn't until I keep thinking the new car. We've been calling this baby the new car secretly in our family because we never wanted Mama Mai or somebody to slip and say the baby on a phone call or in a Zoom or something and would get out. So this is the new car, okay? But it wasn't until the new car was inside of my belly, and maybe at about 20 weeks, I started to have some very, very vivid dreams that didn't make sense at first. They were dreams about my childhood. They were dreams about me lying under my bed crying, or some of the talks that I had with my mom, when she didn't, know the right things to say when I needed it. There was moments where I audibly in my dream said words, to stop people from hurting me. I felt waking up out of dreams where I was physically unsafe, so unsafe that I couldn't continue sleeping, so unsafe that I had to get up and run out of my dream, and I'd literally fall out of bed. When you read about your pregnancy, they say that you have very vivid dreams. There's so many psychological ways to analyze them. They're like, it's your unrest. It's like hormones. Some people said it's your subliminal. For me, it was really vivid reminders of stuff that I had already closed, and I didn't understand it. These snapshot moments of times that I did not feel safe. Actually, just this morning, I had a dream that I was running from my abuser, and I have a closet in our home in San Jose, and I always sit in the corner where all the pants hang, and you can hide behind it, and the pants come right in front of your face. So if you lean up really well, you can hide your legs with the pants, so they can't see you. And that always felt safe to me. And I felt myself hiding in that area, and I was crying so hard. And I felt Jeezy's hand wrap around my belly and tap me slowly, and it got slowly harder and harder until I woke up and I saw that I was holding my belly and the baby was kicking underneath against my hand. So I actually woke up to the beating of this baby waking me up out of this dream. I have never felt safe in my life. I've never felt that the people who I thought I could trust, I could actually trust. I've never felt like what you believe to be what it is could actually be that. It's always something the opposite, a lot darker and a lot more dangerous. As a child, when you are taken from things that feel good and whole and safe, it's hard to see anything being trustworthy moving forward. I realized that the reason why I didn't want to have kids is because that feeling when I was a kid was so real and so damaging, to the point that I'm 42 today, still dealing with trust issues and confidence. And
The ability to trust that I'm gonna stop something if something happens to me. I'm gonna stand up for myself. And to be honest with you, to this day, there are a lot of times in my career where people have either bullied me or messed with my head in some way, and I didn't stand up for myself, and I'm not proud of myself. Many times, even many times on camera. I think the reason why I've always said I don't want to have kids is because I didn't trust myself to actually protect somebody else from that. The truth is, it still scares me if I can still do that, you know? It still scares me on whether or not I can keep a kid safe from someone else who might hurt them. It scares me if my child will be in a situation and not be able to tell me, or if I'm not gonna be there to help them. Something could happen. Even now, I still think I'm at 5 months. I think about it every day that something could happen and my baby will be taken away from me. I literally think about this. It's so bad. You're not supposed to talk about this, but I'm just being real. I think about it all the time. I've learned in counseling that with people who have faced really bad trauma, they're constantly burdened with this fear that something bad is gonna happen next. I bought like several devices that hear the heartbeat of the baby just because I'm constantly worried that the bad thing will happen to me, because it feels like every time something's really good, something bad always happens. What I've determined to do is to face my fears and do everything I can to understand where it comes from so that I know it's not real. There are bad people in the world that could harm your child. But I also know that I am a mighty woman today, and that my child's not gonna have the same relationship with their parents that I had with mine. They're going to have a relationship with me that I'm going to cultivate and make stronger and more communicative and more open and fluid than any other relationship I've ever had in my life. And I know that I have a partner that also feels the same way, who also has gone through his own hurt and his own pain in his life. And it's important to both of us that through this child, we build anew the type of childhood that we never had. When I faced those traumas, when I confronted them, when I took them and I took them outside of my mind and put them outside of my world where they deserve to be, I was able to build the best relationships. My mom and I, right in front of you guys, is a great example, because I was able to actually confront her about that and box that monster of distrust, of abandonment, of seeing my mother a way that she really wasn't anymore. That helped to heal me. And we are so much stronger today because of that. It really took every single day of my life to get to this place. Even though there's so many odds against me having a child as an older woman or having a relationship late in life, I'm so thankful because I've never felt this ready. I've been through so much and I've survived and I'm shining. My heart is ready. And I have a partner who is also equally dedicated to heal his life by having a child that has the safest, healthiest childhood we never got. And then I also got God on my side. Nothing will ever happen to this baby who is my pride and joy. I was meant to be a mom. Mwah.